Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Alan Gilbreth, Alissa Diggs, and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. Brandon is not here. He's celebrating his wedding anniversary this weekend. Like all of us, like all normal people do, he and his wife are in a cabin in the woods watching horror movies.
Dude, I'm
Knock
just
yourself
telling
out,
you,
man.
I'm telling you, man,
Jeez.
he is just charging up for the spooky season.
Yeah.
This is his reboot. He's been through an entire year. Now he's ready to become the Brandon he always wants to be.
Well,
for the next couple of months.
We've said in the past, all of us love the month of October. There's a certain energy. We all feel more alive. But Brandon, I think, it's not even close.
yeah.
The month of October is his wheelhouse. So.
It is his. They absolutely adore it. So they're recharging. So just beware.
Okay, so who knows what we're going to hear when we come back. So, but well, hey, this is and Alissa, it's good to have you back in the house.
Yes,
You've been gone, so I do want to learn about your trip to Philadelphia, but maybe later on. But you watched something very disturbing.
Yes.
And we're going spoiler heavy. We don't care.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it.
I'm going to tell you all about Chimp Crazy.
Gosh,
But we all
crazy.
know how it's going to end.
it's
We
not
all
going to end
know,
well.
so, yeah.
Made by the same people that brought you Tiger King.
Yeah.
What a weird experience.
Yeah. We
Gosh,
all know
I
how
needed
that
a
turned out.
shower
It's
after I
only
watched that
4
show.
episodes, and it's like the most insane 4 episodes you'll ever sit through.
Okay, so if you don't mind spoilers, or if you've seen it, stay tuned for that. But we're gonna kick it off though, because the Penguin episode 1 came out, and we're gonna do spoilers. Who cares if you don't want to do spoilers? And
Well, it was Batman Day yesterday. I think this was my homage to you. I actually watched something connected with Batman.
well, here's my question with you. Okay, I will say. I'm not questioning the quality. I'm not questioning the acting. I did find it very depressing. I mean, I'm not rooting for anybody. At this point, there's not one person in there I'm rooting for. But I did enjoy the footage. Like, they did a pretty quick review of like, okay, well, this city just got flooded. There's some serious problems now. They did the way they showed the news clips and the way they kind of, in a matter of 2 minutes, brought you up to speed with what's going on in Gotham City. But the thing that's odd about this show to me is that the Penguin is literally in every scene in the show. Mm-hmm. I feel like, to me, that, I don't know, whatever. I just want to we're going to round table it. We're going to talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, or something. But now, Alissa, you haven't seen it.
No, I wanted to watch it last night, but I forgot.
I don't think we can spoil it very much. You know what the situation is.
Yeah, I have a general. I feel like the first episode you can't be that spoilery.
But Alan, when you sit and watch some of this, do you, like, I can't say I enjoyed it. It was interesting. That's about all I got out of it. But I felt kind of bummed out after I watched it. But
Well,
what do you get out of this?
All right, you and I watch shows dramatically differently.
Oh, tell me about it. Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. You and I go to the same movie. We have 2 very different experiences.
Yeah.
Of when I walk into something, and I'll pick on stranger movies in the past that did okay, but were weird. V for Vendetta, Payback, and even TV shows like The Sopranos. Nobody's a good guy.
Yeah, literally, there's nobody here you can root for.
There is a protagonist. And in the case of Colin Farrell, we've seen Colin, and let's face it, he is a massively good-looking guy.
Sure. He
is serious.
Would you say that, Alissa?
Yeah,
I'm going to look
he's
at Alissa
very
and go, if Colin's in a movie,
I'm
you are
probably gonna watch
generally
it.
highlighting Colin's best features, right?
Okay.
However, there are certain roles that come along, and I'll pick on like V for Vendetta and a few others, that really call for something shockingly and much more difficult to do. How do you act when it ain't you?
Yeah.
And what I mean when it ain't you, there is almost nothing about Colin Farrell that is even remotely evident in the character he plays, the Penguin.
Yeah. No,
It doesn't look
weird.
like him. It don't sound like him. It doesn't walk like him. Colin is delivering and I don't mean it's like, oh, look, it's Alissa in a suit.
Yeah.
you have zero disbelief that this is the Penguin.
Yeah.
And that he is a rotten guy and that you already know him. So I admire the show not giving me the 500th version of an origin story. We had news articles. We went, this is where we're at. You're watching this because you know what the Penguin already is.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And I admired that. I admired that dramatically. Please quit bogging me down with history.
I will say this because you're mentioning it. Well, in this show, the Penguin. Sorry, Alissa, this is a little bit of a spoil. We see him take his shoes off.
Yep.
He's got a really deformed foot, like a horrifically deformed foot. He limps really, which makes him look like a penguin and everything. His face is not pleasant to look at. He's just not an attractive person. Well, you do see that does sort of play out. Like we see one of my favorite characters actually is Sophia Falcone.
Yes.
There's a lot of actually really good-looking people, or at least professional-looking, and he always stands out, and they actually play into that a little bit. He's very insecure about his appearance. You can tell. He's very conscientious, and he's compensating a lot. He drives a purple Maserati. He does all this stuff. He dresses well, so. But it's interesting that they lay into that a little bit.
So the director's buying into it, the showrunner's buying into it, and most importantly, Mr. Farrell is utterly devoted to it. And we didn't have to have it explained to you.
Yeah, they pretty much just get going.
So you kind of see the experience I'm having with this show in the fact that nobody is explaining why he's the way he is. We're just going to show you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess the thing too, though, I am wondering about. I don't know. What I'm curious about is I wonder what the budget was for this, because it's they've done a pretty good job of really recreating. Of the dark underbelly of Gotham. This place is dirty. It looks real, though. It looks like a real place.
Right, but there's not a lot of special effects and stuff going on. So there's not a lot of high-dollar stuff.
Yeah, it looks to me like it's very practical. I'm sure there was some to do with the flooding that's CGI and everything, but it's a very gritty, street-level looking show, and we're going to talk about it more when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. They slice their pizza with a Batarang. The Geek Patrol is back.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Alan Gilbreth, Alissa Diggs, and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And Brandon will be back next week. He's on his wedding his wedding anniversary out in the cabin in the woods watching horror movies. Have fun with that, Brandon, and I hope you survive the experience. Hey, before the break, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about The Penguin, episode 1. It's a miniseries on HBO Max, or no, it's just the Max these days. But it's we're giving spoilers, not a ton of them because Alissa hasn't seen it yet. But really, I don't think we can spoil the episode. You're more or less know what's going on. Yeah. It takes place right after the big flood when the seawall got broken in and everything. But I was saying something before the break. Well, for one thing, I'm not rooting for anybody. I do like Sophia Falcone's character. For one thing, she just got out of Arkham, so she's and in the comic books, Sophia Falcone is a pretty interesting lady. Although she looks totally different in the comics. She's like 6'5". She weighs she looks like she could bench press a truck. She looks
Kristen
really intimidating.
Milinetti is not 6'5",
but she does have a cool, like, kind of psychotic thing she does. But here's my question. So the one thing I mentioned before the break was the fact that the Penguin is literally in every scene in this show. To me, it feels very, I guess one way you could say it is it feels very intimate, but it also feels very kind of claustrophobic almost. I'm like, I don't know what's going on in the rest of Gotham. I only know about what's going on wherever he is. Do you guys like I don't know. Is this going to be how the whole show is, you think?
But see, this is why you and I have different experiences.
Okay.
I'm enjoying the intimacy of just this story.
Okay.
You want to make me crazy, involve the bloody universe and 5,000 characters.
Yeah, because now I got to keep track of all this other stuff.
I just want to know about this story. And this is just one tiny little story in a very huge tapestry. But you can get a lot of storytelling work done in a little mini series like this that can have major repercussions in later movies and other shows.
Right. Yeah.
Because this is just him versus the Falcone family. This is just this little piece of it. He's not even really on the radar yet.
Yeah. And like I think I enjoy that because it gives the directors and the writers, I feel like, a chance to really like flesh it out more. Like I feel like what made the first season of Mandalorian so strong is it was like so intimate. It was just about him. We didn't have to worry about what was happening in the rest of the galaxy. We just got this little chunk of it. And then when they started involving everything else, it got like a little too much. But like I think that intimacy gives a lot of room for the actors and just everyone to really focus on this story we're telling and not have to worry about the big picture of the universe.
Well, the thing about that, though, we're rooting for the Mandalorian. He's a person we like. We're rooting for Grogu, of course.
Yeah, but I think human nature, like sometimes it's nice to get to root for a bad guy because like sometimes you want to be a bad guy, but you can't because we have to be nice to people and like you have to be good. But in shows, sometimes it's nice to get to be like, yeah, if I was a crime boss, that's what I would do too.
Yeah.
Like,
well, there you go. That's exactly what's going on. The reason I found it depressing, Alissa, is because, well, for one thing, like there's times in the show Andor, I'm actually kind of rooting for the Empire. What's her face, Miro. I'm like, yeah, she's tough. She's standing up for herself. She's getting the job done. But so far, I haven't had one moment where I really am cheering for the Penguin, other than he did kind of put that Falcone kid in his place, but I mean, brutally so. But I don't know.
Well,
that's why I'm not. Yeah.
But when you watch a linchpin character like the Kingpin, over in the Spider-Man universe. Mm-hmm. This is nothing. There's nothing redeemable about this character. There really isn't. I mean, at the end of the day, this is the villain. The Penguin in this particular case, he's not the villain yet, but he's growing into being the villain.
Yeah.
And we didn't have it spoon-fed us that he had a terrible childhood and he didn't get a pony when he was 12. Instead, you got a depressing, overt Gotham feeling, and then you've seen the guy. He ain't good looking.
Yeah.
He's not athletic. He's not jumping around. He's deformed.
Right.
He's got all of these things working against him, but yet we already know what he's going to become.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting. I don't know how many episodes. I haven't checked. And let's just say this. The acting's great. It looks great. There's some fairly good dialogue. It's going to be, it's a well-made show.
You got a little Clancy Brown going on. You're going to add some Mark Strong. He's Carmine Falcone. And I love Mark Strong because he brings that, how do you put it, really rigid character.
Wait, which one is he?
I'm trying to remember his other roles. He is always the British bad guy.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah,
bald-headed.
Oh, that dude. Yeah.
The Kingsman. He was Merlin.
Mm-hmm.
But Mark Strong always brings a certain character type to the movie, and you hate it when he dies when he's the good guy because he was kind of quirky. You love it when he dies when he's the bad guy because he really leaned into being the bad guy.
Super evil.
Yeah. And so, if it's going to come down into a big showdown between the Falcone family and the Penguin, which we know it is, we all know we're going to be kind of for the Penguin because at least he's a sympathetic character, if not a likable character.
Well, that's the thing. You feel sorry for him when you see all the stuff.
Okay.
He's
the
hand he's been dealt, but
not a hero.
Right. Yeah. But then you hate him too when you see some
of
the evil stuff he's doing. So, but if you don't have a strong stomach for grisly violence or for
this is
people getting
Daredevil-esque.
shot in the face.
Yeah, this is very Daredevil-esque.
Yeah, they're not really holding back on this. So, but it'll be interesting, and I guess when Brandon gets back into town, we'll be able to find out what he thought. But Alissa, so stay tuned, folks, because we will definitely be following the Penguin. I can't say I'm looking forward to the experience, but I'll do it out of a sense of duty. But this is going to be interesting. Alyssa's the only one here that watched that show, Chimp Crazy. I've sat down and I've been tempted to watch it a few
It's
times, and I don't
insane.
know if I have the stomach for it. I can't stand that certain things in that type of environment. We're going to talk about it when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Alan Gilbreth and Alissa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And Brandon will be back with us next week. We're I guess we're going pretty spoiler heavy this week. Alissa, you watched Chimp Crazy over on the Max, or over on Max, I should just say. And so we're going to talk spoilers. I mean, we don't mind if you spoil it for us. We sort of can guess how this is going to play out. But I've been tempted a few times to watch this. I did watch The Tiger King once, and it made me feel really uncomfortable and sleep. I didn't like it at all.
That was rough.
And now the same people that made that are showing more animals being mistreated by psychopaths. But so
It's
tell us about it.
truly insane. Okay, so episode 1, they are laying the groundwork. They talk about this woman named Tanya Haddix, who is friends with this other woman who in Missouri owns a ton of apes or chimps. And one of them is named Tonka, and Tonka is one of the most famous chimp actors. He was in any movie with a chimp in it. That's Tonka.
Okay.
Big friends with Alan Cumming. Alan Cumming and Tonka are besties.
Is that why they show him in the?
Yes, because he was in
Okay.
a bunch of movies with Tonka. So he loves Tonka. Anyway, so they're talking about this lady. They have to hire someone called a proxy director because they know they can't just walk in there to these people and get their trust. So they hire this guy named Dwayne. Can't remember his last name, but he is a circus clown, also producer, also a bunch of other things, also very familiar with lots of people within the animal trading business, exotic animals. So he already knows a lot of these people and has relations with them. So they hire him to be the director of this thing because they were if she Googles the Tiger King guy, she's going to be I don't want anyone filming me. Because a lot of them don't want cameras in there because they know they'll get in trouble. So anyway,
Yeah, who would do this after the Tiger? I mean, they expose every bad thing about them.
Because they think that once you see how I do it, you'll understand. I care about my animals.
So they're
I
delusional.
love these chimps. These are my babies. They're my children. There's one woman they interview. She raised the chimp alongside her daughter and breastfed it, the whole shebang. It's
Gosh.
these people are really a little delusional in the mind. So they go and they're interviewing Tanya and this other woman, and they're showing the chimps, and obviously it's not great in there. While this is happening, PETA's been on their case for a long time, and finally it gets to a point where they get to seize all this woman's chimps, right? So
Boy.
The night before PETA comes, the documentary crew installs all these cameras inside or whatever because they're not allowed to film on property while PETA's there, but they can do whatever they want behind the scenes.
They're doing it anyway. yeah.
So they put cameras in, whatever. PETA comes, takes all the chimps. Tonka's not there. Where's Tonka? He died. He died right before you got here. I had to put him down. He's dead, is what Tanya says to everyone. Okay? PETA then tries to sue her because they're he's not dead. You're lying. And she's no, he's dead. We had to cremate him. My husband.
Overnight.
My husband.
Yeah.
She's
Makes
married,
a piece of paper that is I so-and-so definitely burned that chimp. That was me. I legally did that. It's crazy. Anyway, she sobbing on the stand about how traumatic it was when Tonka died. He had a heart condition, blah, blah, blah. The judge is I know Tanya's lying, but you don't have enough evidence for me to let you do anything about it. So until you do, you have legally, PETA, you have to leave her alone. And she's yes, I won my case. To the documentary crew, just lets it out. Tonka's alive. She has him hidden somewhere else. And they're what do we do? Because
now they're conspiring.
Perjured yourself. You're harboring this monkey that's for sure unwell and does need to be taken from you. But we think that they are she could lead us to so many other people that have even more they kind of need her. So they're we don't know what to do. So they don't say anything, and they just kind of let her have Tonka, and they get to see him, and it just gets crazier and crazier. But then she like calls the director one day, the proxy director guy, and she's like, "Hey, he's really sick. The vet's saying I have to put him down because PETA keeps is on her, and they've now
They're tracking her.
At this point, they're offering $20,000 to anyone who can tell them that Tonka's alive. So now she's got all these people who know her and are like,
they
showing up at her house and being like, we like just trying to get any amount of proof because they want $20,000 is a lot of money for these people, and so. She's like telling this proxy director, I'm gonna have to put him down, and then they're like, okay, well now we have to tell PETA because he's not actually sick. There's multiple cases where people who like feel like they're being enclosed in, they would rather the chimp die than them have to give it to PETA.
Now that's a weird psychology.
Yeah, there's a story they talk about where this woman. She had a chimp for a really long time, and they get more aggressive as they get older, especially when they're not being exercised or like let out and stuff the way that they're meant to be cared for. And people are just feeding them like human food, which isn't good for them.
Yeah, they showed her feeding him chicken McNuggets and stuff.
Yeah. So there's this woman. She had like all these procedures she did to make sure that he didn't like hurt anyone. And then one day she lets him out, and they forget to lock the door so that he can't run up out of the basement. He gets up out of the basement.
He's staying in a basement.
Yeah, this is not Tonka. This is a different monkey. But he gets up out of the basement. He attacks this woman's daughter, mutilates her basically. She calls the police and calm as day. You're gonna have to headshot him. Like you have to kill the monkey, because she knew she was gonna have to give that monkey to PETA. She would rather him be dead than like lose it to PETA. Put her daughter at risk. And then so the police came, they killed that monkey, and like that was it. And she
did
was
the daughter survive? Or?
Yes, time the daughter did survive. There's other times where people didn't survive these attacks, or whatever.
We've heard of those bad attacks.
Yes.
I mean,
Anyway, long story. Do we have more time?
We're good. Keep going.
PETA it gets involved. They finally tell PETA like she does have Tonka. Like we're so sorry. She does have Tonka. Like someone has to come get this monkey because she's gonna kill it. So then she spends like a little bit trying to figure out like who was the mole. Like how did they get a hold of this information? Like who told? Because they come and take Tonka. He's fine. He's doing great now. He just needed a better diet and like places to run around because they can live forever, but people can't.
You can't just raise a wild animal
and
treat it like a person.
She's like in love with him. Like she's like, I would give up my family and my husband and my marriage if I could have Tonka back.
All right, so the it's becoming a multi-layered drama, and we're going to continue to talk about it when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Very tasteless, Max. Anyway, welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Alan Gilbreth and Alissa Diggs and the shocking Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, boy, I already feel like just icky listening to this description of this show, Chimp Crazy, over on Max. The thing about you were talking about all the drama. Okay, well, Alissa, so this lady, Tanya Haddock, she's raising chimps illegally. She's got a very weird attachment to them. But it's not just that. It's her personality. It's all the drama behind the scenes. Now, it's exactly like the Tiger King. It wasn't just that he was raising animals illegally. It was all the shady and horrifying other stuff that happened.
Well, and she's also like an exotic animals dealer.
Right.
So she just will be buying up baby monkeys and baby animals and then just sells them on Facebook. Just on Facebook. And all these exotic animal people are like, yeah, I'll buy that baby whatever monkey. No idea if they can care for it. And thousands and thousands of dollars in cash just moving through this market. It's crazy.
Wait, we ought to go to our reptile market.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to do that.
It really makes you think about stuff.
And Alissa, all right, there's a huge dimorphism between you and I. I'm a big guy. You're a diminutive person. Yeah. And when I see somebody your size buying an 18-foot-long albino reticulated python, I always look at that and kind of go, well, I hope you got a will.
Yeah.
Because it's, it's not cuddling. It's measuring you to see if you'll fit.
Yeah, literally. And that's the thing is, like, some people, I think, can own exotic animals, and they have a serious respect for the creature that they're taking care of. If depending on the animal and the space you have. But I think that there are people who get them and are like, this is just my fun toy snake that I will let be on my body at all times. And like, they don't learn anything, and they don't respect the animal, and then they get hurt.
What is the word? I think it's called anthropomorphizing. You're giving this animal human characteristics, and you're like, well, this thing's got 2 arms and 2 legs like me, so I'm going to treat it like one of my kids. Well, it's not.
Okay.
It doesn't have the same instincts that it's going to rip your face off.
Tanya kept saying chimps are like I think it was like 97% human DNA, and I was girl, that 3% does a lot.
I don't care if it got 99.5.
Right.
That little percent where it doesn't just tear you limb from limb is important.
Well, yeah, the thing to remember, and all right, I'm going to go back to the 60s in Great Britain, because they had a huge fad of owning large predatory cats.
Oh.
Everybody had
like
them a leopard, had them a cheetah, had them, one guy had a lion. I mean, we had a case in New York where a guy got busted getting his dog bite, and y'all need to see the big air bunnies, treated at a New Jersey hospital, and the doctor measured the bite and went, the pit bull would have to weigh 500 pounds to make a bite like this. The guy had a tiger.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
And the other part was, and an 8 to 10 foot long alligator in an apartment in New York. Multi-stories. They had to dart this thing through a window on a cherry picker.
That's crazy.
Okay, I can't even imagine all that.
So, and the thing to remember, all right, obviously everybody's like going, Allan, it's a leopard. Of course it's going to eat you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know we look at especially monkeys and apes because they really do. I mean, when you have a little baby marmoset or something and it's looking deeply into your eyes, they are just the cutest things in the world.
Yeah.
They're just the most adorable, but these things grow up.
Yeah.
So
so strong.
You said it's 4 episodes, and all this is happening in 4 episodes.
I've just scratched the surface on the things that happen here.
Yeah.
So many more things. At the end, she never gets Tonka back, obviously. PETA tries to make it to where she can never own or sell animals ever again. But I don't think she goes down that road. She's like, no, I'd rather owe you millions of dollars than give up my right to do that. Because she owns a zoo, still an exotic animal zoo. She just doesn't own chimps anymore. But she went to a friend's who does own chimps because she just loves them so much and she just loves being around them. She went into the enclosure with it because she thinks that she can do that. She got attacked. It ripped part of her ear off, part of one of her fingers off. Really beat her up real bad. On camera, she said, every time I go to bed, I have nightmares about it. I still would have a chimp again if I could. I would still take Tonka back right now. She's like, that's where she's at in her mind. And at the very end, the last thing she says is that she's thinking about selling her zoo so she can buy a private island that's for sale. So that she can own chimps and they can just free roam on the island with her. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well,
I mean, that's better, I guess, but still.
Well, not for her.
Can't wait to never hear from you again.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like she's going to be, I don't know, man.
She's going to be monkey food in like a day. Day.
Or
I don't know. Why do we
when you watch stuff like this, there's a certain amount of voyeurism.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Why do we want to see this? Like, I don't like seeing animals.
To me, it's just like, it was so shocking to know that was happening, and then to know that, like, it's still legal in plenty of states to just own these animals. That, like, they could just be in people's houses. They could just get loose and, like, run rampant in your neighborhood any day. You don't know.
And the notion of
I'm never gonna stop thinking about it.
Yeah, letting a wild animal near your kid. Because I mean, I'm a father. You get very protective as soon as you get kids.
A lot of them, like their kids, are like, yeah, they care about those monkeys more than they care about me, and it's like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it sounds odd, but yet we're gonna watch. It's probably gonna be like the #1 show for a while.
Well,
right?
if people get the proper message,
she's on TikTok.
If people get the proper message, it's great. if they get the wrong message.
Yeah, if they want to be like her.
Don't
yeah.
do that.
No,
You don't want critters that can eat you in your home.
As ugly and weird as this stuff is to look at, my hope is that it leads to a greater good where maybe people are like, okay, yeah, we do need to rein this in. We got to treat these animals better.
Yeah, because it's so sad. And to know that so many of them do so much better the minute they're out of like that kind of captivity.
Sure.
And it's like, can't you see? She's like, no, he's not happy. He misses me.
Well, you guys have been listening to another uplifting episode of Geek Tank Radio, but it's over. We got to get out of here. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Alissa Diggs.
I'm Maximilian.
And I'm Alan Gilbert, reminding you that no matter where you started in life, you can always rise to your potential.